Hey there, everyone. I'm Jake Sirota, and welcome back to this week's episode of Authority Builders Ranking Secrets, your go-to source for SEO tips done by real SEOs, real professionals who get results for clients. Today's episode, we're going to be breaking down what we actually learned in 2025 and what's going to matter as far as moving the needle for clients moving into 2026. These aren't predictions pulled out of thin air. These are real things that we saw across our clients' campaigns, across the industry, and across every AI system that's now influencing visibility online. So make sure to hit like and subscribe, and let's jump into it. Why is it so important that we take some lessons from 2025? Well, 2025 was the first year where SEO and AI fully collided and actually started influencing how people behave online. So this isn't a typical SEO is dead doomsday kind of way, but in a way that exposes a lot of weak spots. Brands that relied on publishing volume just kind of fell off. Sites with scattered content and just bad focus had a harder time keeping rankings, and a lot of models like affiliate websites burned overnight because of things like AI overviews. So looking at 2026, the question isn't what's new, but what can we learn from what we've been observing so that we don't get left behind? Okay, so what actually carried over into 2026? Well, from everything we've seen in 2025, building your brand authority matters now more than ever. That's by far the biggest thing that we're seeing carry over as to a big factor in our clients' campaigns. You can't rely on one-off ranking tricks anymore. People are still doing parasitic SEO tactics, but those are few and far between, and Google's AI systems are getting smarter and smarter. So shortcuts aren't as common as they were in previous years. Now, if your content was scattered or shallow, then you're going to keep slipping. The natural example here is whenever brands with fewer backlinks but clearer identity online keep outranking historical big players in their industry. This isn't luck, it's clarity. And moving forward, this is a long-term ranking advantage, not a short-term tactic. Okay, moving on to the second thing that we know is carrying on into 2026, and that's the fact that AI citations are a real visibility channel, and that's throughout multiple LLMs. ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini, even Google's AI overviews started surfacing brands that weren't ranking traditionally, but they still had strong credibility signals like we just talked about. And those citations do end up driving traffic and sometimes conversions. In some cases, more traffic than a traditional SERP would. The pattern is really clear. Brands with clean data, brands with consistent messaging, and brands that are referenced by reputable sources through traditional PR and backlinking, those are the ones that are mentioned in AI answers, in AI citations. So that's not going to stop in 2026. If anything, it's becoming a second layer of SEO. Rankings are one side, AI citations and getting referenced and recommended by these models is a whole nother side. Another big thing that we learned from 2025 that's going to carry over into our strategy in 2026 is that quality matters more over volume. And this has been said for multiple years in the SEO industry, but for real this time. We learned that posting consistently doesn't really fix anything if you have a whole bunch of content that needs to be re-optimized anyways. So thin or repetitive content gets ignored, even if it technically ranks for a little while. So what worked in 2026, or what worked in 2025, will keep working in 2026. For example, for one of our clients, a single strong asset that was re-optimized that used to rank in 2023 outperformed 20 weaker articles that their team was producing. So a single authoritative placement can also beat like 50 low-value backlinks. These are multiple examples where quality is more important than volume. So it's something that you need to understand, that if you're building backlinks for clients, just getting a pure number of backlinks isn't what's going to move the needle. Getting a pure number of blog posts just up on the website also isn't going to move the needle. You need to be more strategic and focus on quality. Okay, so we talked about some things that will definitely carry over into 2026. And we know that by things that we've observed over 2025. But let's talk about things that are absolutely being left behind in 2025 and not carrying over. First, it's relying on keyword-targeted blog posts as your main strategy. Search intent kind of reinvented itself in 2025. So users expect answers faster And they're also using AI systems in order to summarize everything. So if you're still blogging like it's 2015, it might be time to switch up your strategy. So the second thing that we're going to leave behind in last year is pretending that Google is the only place where visibility happens. Think about it. Whenever you're looking for a product, you might be Googling something, but then you might go to the website directly. You might take a look at their social channels. Things don't happen in a straight line, and marketing attribution is kind of hard to prove, but we know that people are making decisions all over the internet. So what you need to focus on is building your authority and your trust across all channels so that people can make sure that they're viewing you as an authoritative source, not just through Google rankings, but through your entire brand's presence. Another thing we're going to be leaving behind is link building shortcuts. If you're still pumping out PBNs, buying up expired domains, those things might work short term, but are they building the real brands that your clients are depending on you for? No. These cheap tricks are something that we need to leave behind as an SEO professional community. And the last thing we need to stop doing is publishing content without any expert attribution or real world case studies, things like that. EAT stopped being a checkbox. It's really important that you show people that you're an authoritative source. So if you're just chasing search volume without adding any real depth for people, well, people are going to see through that. And not only that, but these AI models won't start citing you if you're not adding anything that's valuable for them. Remember, traffic for the sake of traffic hasn't mattered in a while. And if you're trying to show up where AI is directing users, then trust me, you're not going to want to focus on this vanity traffic metric over and over again. It's time to move on. Okay, so let's do our quick recap. It's time for this week's portion of 60 Seconds of SEO. So here's the quick version of what we talked about today. 1, brand identity is definitely the biggest thing that's being carried over into 2026. Clean signals all across the internet matter when it comes to getting cited. Speaking of being cited, we know that AI citations are becoming a real channel for people online. The next thing that we're taking away from this is that depth beats quality all the time. If you're sitting on tons of unoptimized blog content that used to get traffic, start there before trying to pump out tons and tons of new posts just to get backlinks or just to put something out there. You need to focus on quality. And hand in hand with that, keyword-only blog strategies aren't working as well anymore. You need to have a clear top, middle, and end of your funnel in order to really add value for people who are looking for information and looking to engage with a business like yours. So to bring it all together, we know that authority and credibility are the real ranking levers. Whether you're trying to rank on AI search or you're trying to rank in traditional search engines, we know that you need to be viewed as an authority both by these models and by humans in order to actually, 1, get cited, get recommended, and 2, for people to actually trust you and make decisions, even if they're interacting with your brand through an AI model. All right, so that just about does it for this week's episode of Ranking Secrets from Authority Builders. And if you want to take one thing away from this episode, I'd say it'd be this. 2025 rewarded brands that were intentional and consistent. 2026 is going to reward the ones that double down on that. So make sure to drop a comment. Tell me what you're planning on focusing this year to add value to your clients and to your brand itself. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep building that real authority. Cheers.